Dale Jr. makes it to victory lane last night. I got to tell you, really great thing for the sport with the number 3. It was really cool to watch on television last night with all the fans on lap 3, which, by the way, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was going for the lead at that point with all the people in the stands with the number 3 up in the air, which was kind of cool. Very emotional win for Dale Earnhardt Jr., for Tony Eury Jr., his cousin, and I'm sure the whole family as well. We'll have some audio and video of that as well. You could join us online at speed.com or racedayonfox.com. Also, audio archives. You can get the audio stream at foxsports.com. But a lot going on in the world of racing today, and we're going to get you on the grid this morning because that was neat. I got to tell you, the nationwide cars with the new car, the COT, very cool to see. At one point at the beginning of the race, the Mustang leading the field with the 2 Challengers right behind it. I mean, those are some cool-looking cars, man. I was very impressed. I think they put on a great show last night, a good race. And as you're watching the video feed right now, I'm showing actually got to go do a ride-along program with Ford Racing in the Mustang pace car and also the new Mustang race car for the Nationwide Series, which was pretty cool. We went out to Walt Disney World Speedway out there in Orlando and got to do that. But also the Challenger is pretty cool looking as well. They look mean out on the track, which is really cool because it makes it very different. It also gives it the sport identity. I felt, like I was watching it was like a different race. It was almost like we were watching a cup race or something like that. So I think this is something really good for the series. And Brian France also came out and said this week, which we'll have audio of a little bit later on in the program, about how they're looking to change the Nationwide Series and have it have its own identity and make room for new drivers coming up instead of all the NASCAR drivers coming down and racing in it. And I think you need to have that some kind of balance there. So it'll be pretty cool to see what they do there. Plus, chase talk. Could there be changes to the chase coming in the next few months here as we get ready for the 2011 season and as we head into the 2010 chase for the championship? Things are heating up as well, including Dale Earnhardt Jr. Getting in that top 12. Only 3 points out right now as it stands. We'll get into that as well coming up in the next segment, talking about the chase for the champion. Who's on the outside looking in? Who do we expect to be there? Who's not going to make it in? Who's going to get kicked out? We got all that stuff coming up. Plus, I want to hear from you, the fans. Last night, what did you think of that race? What did you think of Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting in the victory lane? What do you think how the emotions were for this guy? I mean, this is, you're seeing a kid smile for the first time in a long time. I know we say kid, and he's obviously in his 30s and able to take care of himself. But this is a guy who's had a rough time and at a track where his father died, and we're almost going on 10 years when his father died in a crash here at Daytona. So this place means a ton to him, and to be in the number 3 and to do what he did last night, I got to tell you, man, that's got to lift something off of him, make him lift him up to a whole nother level now. And let's see what it does with him emotionally, because I think that has been part of the problem with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the struggles he's had in the last few years here. And I got to tell you, it was nice to see him and Richard Childers. I mean, just last night was a very special moment, no doubt. If you were a race fan, that was something really neat to see, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I got to see it. All right, let's get you on the grid for today. Racing, we have the Cup Series at Daytona International Speedway tonight under the lights, which will be really cool to watch. It's always spectacular, and I know we're talking 400 miles here. I expect these guys to run hard as soon as the green flag drops. You may have a couple of guys who want to take it easy, run to the back of the pack. We saw a little bit of that last night, but they created, I'm telling you, it was some good racing last night. That car was pretty neat. And to hear those guys say, hey, it's really a challenge to drive. You really got to manhandle this thing. I think that's neat. That's not a bad thing. You're not supposed to get in a car or race car or anything you race, and it's supposed to drive with ease. You got to work that thing. Otherwise, they could stick anybody in these cars, and I don't think that's what they want to do. They want to have the best drivers in the world, and that's what they need to have done. And speaking of that, I know I mentioned the ride-along I did at Walt Disney World. Paul Menard's going to be joining us on the show tomorrow. And I did get to ask him. I sat down with him one-on-one, and I told him, hey, I wasn't a big fan of yours because you came into the sport with money. You probably took a seat that somebody else could have had that actually had more experience than you. And this is something, they're trying to balance in NASCAR because with the Nationwide Series, it's hard for drivers to come up unless they have some kind of sponsorship that follows them. If they don't have a company or come with money, it's almost like, I don't care how much talent you got. I can't run you in the car. It costs too much. I need somebody who has maybe less experience, but guess what? They come with a pocketbook that I can reach my hand in and pull cash out of. And unfortunately, that's the situation. It's been going on for a long time. Who am I kidding? But they're going to try and see what they could do to balance that a little bit. But I brought it up to him, and he was really cool about it. I got to tell you, he took it like a man, and he joked with me, and I'll be playing that tomorrow because I thought it was a real good interview. I got to talk to him, but I got to give him props, and I was just saying it a couple of weeks ago. I got to give the guy props for what he's done because he's definitely, with the seat time and the team he's at right now, is doing one hell of a job. All right, let me finish getting you on the grid here. Also coming up this afternoon at 1 p.m. on Speed, you can watch the Grand Am race from Daytona International Speedway, and joining us a little bit later on the show from Speed will be Marshall Pruitt to talk about that Grand Am race. He's doing something really cool because it's the 100th race for the Daytona prototypes. So we'll talk to him about that. We also have Steve Wallace. He'll be joining us on the program. We have Scott Wimmer. He'll be on the program as well today. So we got a lot to talk about. And also Artie Arani's Insiders Report. We'll talk to him as well. And then tomorrow on the grid, we have the IndyCar guys at the Glen on the 4th, and then Moto GP at Cataluna. So it's going to be a great weekend. I got to talk about something I did this weekend as well that was really neat to do. And as a matter of fact, I wasn't going to do it. We went out to Anderson Motorsports Park in Palmetto, took the karts out there, went karting, and we had the opportunity. Hot as hell. I'm telling you, it was hot. We went out there, took the karts out, was out running great laps, made a couple changes to the kart that really worked great. Then it started to rain, so we raced in the rain for a little bit on slicks, which was very difficult. Then we decided, okay, it's going to keep raining. We're going to put some rain tires on these bad boys, and we went out there and had a blast. I'm telling you, I wasn't going to do it at first. I'm like, I don't want to wreck this thing. I don't need to get out there and get the kart all nasty, and because I sometimes happen to go off the track every now and then. But anyways, it fills the cart up with grass. It gets all nasty. You got to clean it. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I went out, and I had the best time. If you ever have the opportunity, the guys actually at the track came out and thanked us. They were like, usually everybody packs up and goes home when it starts to rain. You guys, we raced for 7 hours. 3 were in the sun, and then the other 4 literally were in pouring rain. And it was a blast. I never had so much fun in my life, so that's pretty neat in itself. We're going to get into the chase for the championship, the new restrictor plates, and qualifying. I want to hear from the race fans on this. 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. Those are the numbers here. Qualifying. When it rains out like it did last night, obviously Sam Hornish Jr. was on the pole, ran a fast lap, was sitting there waiting. They only had 12 cars go out, so they can't. They have to have, obviously, all the cars go out to make it a full qualifying event. Rain came. They had to get the nationwide race in, so what they do, they canceled it. In my opinion, NASCAR needs to take a look and consider doing some kind of draw for those starting lineup positions. Now, I don't know. You can do the draw where you're going to start, but in points, maybe that's how they get to pick their pit selection. So if they're the points leader, obviously he gets first pick. But then he goes over and picks a number out of a bowl. If it's 10, I start 10th, but I get the first pit selection that I want. That's something they can look into, doing something like that. The points count, but it counts for pit selection only, and then you draw for your position. I think that would be something special. Mix it up a little bit, because now these guys that have, their points lead, and they don't have anything necessary to, I don't want to say don't have anything to work for, but they got the, okay, I'm okay. I get to start at the front of this race where I don't have to have a Jimmy Johnson who had a fast car sit somewhere in the mid-pack, maybe at the back of the pack, has to work his way through. Make it a little more interesting. Make these guys pass some cars. Make these guys work a little bit out there, and I think that would create some better racing instead of starting them as they sit in points right now. Points, pit selection, draw for the I absolutely, Frank, great song. I love this song, man. I'm going to let this one play. When we come back, I'm going to take some more calls here. 877-99 on Fox.